Alright guys, what some of you have been waiting for, what I've definitely been waiting for. Kick my throttle up. I got my merger down, and I don't know if you can see it, but if you kind of this mirror here, you can watch the merger. But I didn't start filming out right as I started. I'm over on this neighbor circle because my goodness, this was a learning curve. I was about ready to just murder some people, but I got it worked out, and yeah. So what happened is because I only tried it out on some prairie grass around one of my pivots, so I wasn't throwing any vast amount of material at all. And what happened is I get over here and I start cutting, and see my merger kicks out on this side and it's angled like this, and I was getting this giant ball of shit on the left hand side where that merger gets real close. And I fucked around and I plugged this thing up like 4 or 5 times. I mean, I was getting angry. I was having one of those moments where I was like, oh, slow down there, girl. This feels rough as shit. Anyways, back to it. Let me come on, slow down. He said it was rough, but he didn't say it was that rough. But what was happening is, I unplugged it and I went over and I took the forming shield on the right hand side and I shoved it all the way in, hoping that stuff would get over, far enough over onto the merger. And it worked for, I don't know, good, a little bit. And then, and it was still working, but then all of a sudden I was getting hay that wasn't making it, that was like still balling up, but not plugging up. And it was getting under the merger and, leaving strips and stuff. And, it was aggravating me, so I finally called I didn't have my books and I didn't want to sit here for an hour trying to figure it out, so I just called the damn machinery dealer where I bought this thing from. Called the service department. It's like, hey, this is a problem I'm having, guy just he told me, he's like, well, maybe your belt's loose. I was like, no, belt's not loose, you guys just put it together, and that's the belt on the merger. He's like, well, you need to take your forming shield, your forming unit, and raise it up, 3 chain links or whatever. And I was like, so take it up as high as it'll go. He's like, yes. And he's like, and make sure little swath board at the back, because there's a swath board on the header, and then it's kind of like a forming board, swath board, something like that. And make sure that it's it's up as high as it'll go, and that way it'll get as far back on that merger and increase your ground speed. Okay. Well, I get under there and I was kind of just like, man, this might be kind of, I hope this thing's not too heavy. They're not. Well, I lifted it up, 3 chain links like you said, and I think I got 4 or 5 out of the other side, and I have not had a fucking problem since. I mean, this thing's just running like a striped ass ape. I'm really happy with it. But, I need it to work properly. And the other thing is I need to do the best job I can do, because where I am, mainly we're ranching here, but where I am, there's a lot of a big Mennonite population, and they're all farmers. They all farm, and they all kind of hire each other to do work. Right now, my biggest competition where I am is the guy who cut hay for me. He's a Mennonite. They all hire him to cut hay because he's he is the only guy here that has one of these swathers. And him and his son have round balers. And there's another Mennonite, he's got the big square balers. So, they'll kind of work together. And for me, not being a Mennonite, to break into that, that group of people and get business is really, really hard. It's tough. Because, they're going to support people who are, they go to church with or whatnot, people that they know really well. So, it's tough to get into that group of people, but I'm slowly getting into them and making headway with it. So, and I'm also charging a shit ton less than he does, because I just, I need the money and, tough shit. I'm sorry, but I need the money. And I like the guy, I do, but I offered the guy, my competition, I offered to work for him. I gave him the chance last year. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be cutting some hay, so, if you get time where you're not super busy, or you're really busy and you can't make it to it, I'd be willing to work under you for X amount, and then you just charge them whatever you're charging, and that way you're not buying another machine, and you're still keeping your clientele, and you can kind of grow your business. And he said, oh, okay. But, of course, that never happened. And I told him, I was like, look, I like you. I really don't want to go into competition with you. But, yeah, that's just how it is right now. But it's kind of, trying to pick up all my slivers, because this circle is kind of really goofy the way they have it, but that's whatever. They grazed part, and then they grazed another part, so and it's rough as shit going one way, so I'm cutting it the other way, and yeah, it's just kind of goofy right now. But anyways, back to my story. I'm sitting in a piece of equipment. I'm gonna ramble a lot right now. The guy I'm cutting the wheatlage for, he's got choppers, and he chopped corn for me, and whatnot, just kind of how it is. But he's Mennonite, but he's a little more of a rancher. So I hit the wrong button. There we go. Yeah, I'm getting all this figured out. It's taking me a little bit. So I'm going to be cutting. The guy, my neighbor who has the swather, used to cut hay for him. But this winter, the guy who has the choppers, he's got trucks and cattle pots. And I just went to him, I was like, hey, I'm gonna be buying this swather if you're interested in doing business, because I need the business, so this is what I'll do. And it's gonna have a merger, so I'll charge you X amount, which is about $5 less than the guy who's charging him right now to do it. and you're gonna have to go through the field, you know, half as many times. And he was just as happy as he could be. He's like, all right, but so that's how I got that business. You know, I would like to, you know, I'd like to work with other people, but you know, everyone's got their own thing to do, and I'm gonna do mine. But anyway, so I got a story for you. Last night, I took a bunch of videos yesterday. I was turning calves out on grass. You know, we got them in and sorted them, and I just took videos of me hauling them and turning them out, and I had some really cool shots of the calves like jumping out of the trailers and everything, and loading them. And I had about an hour's worth of material. Got it all edited down and fast forward through the long parts and chopped out the parts that, you know, nothing was going on. Got it down to about 25 minutes. And, you know, I mean, that's a long video. I don't want you guys to have to just sit there and suffer through it. So I put 3 different songs in it through the parts where I wasn't talking, because I ended up talking in the back and had some pretty good commentary. And I was discussing my pins and what I was gonna do, and discussing some of the water issues we were facing on one of the places I have calves. And I'm going along and getting ready to put the last song on there. It's the 4th song, and my video editor just crashed. And I lost everything I did. I was just like, you know what, hell with it. Because I don't put any videos up of me working cattle, and I finally went and, you know, took film of it, and I was discussing it, and it was going to be a really, really nice video, and I guess my computer just decided that I didn't need to be putting that out there. And because I'll say what I said in the video, I do all these farming videos, but really the reality of it, farming is only maybe 25% of what I do, if even that. I don't even think it's that much. You know, the farming, the mechanicking, it's not that much of what I do. I don't film everything else because I guess it's, you know, it's more of a serious job to me. You know, I'm very focused on it because most of it I do myself, and I'm not just sitting on my, you know, really the reality of it is I'm not sitting on my ass for 8 hours a day. So I don't have a camera because it's kind of, I think it'll just be a hindrance of what I'm doing. But I'm going to try to get more of my ranching videos, because I have a channel that's based around the ranch, and there's no damn ranching videos. It's all farming. So I just want you to know that I made a valiant effort, and my computer just said, nope, you're not going to do that, Will. I gotta slow down, Jesus. I guess they didn't drag a crumbler behind it, is what he said. So it is a rough bitch. And I probably don't have my seat aired up or whatever. Oh! I've only thrown myself against the glass about 4 times now. This thing will stop on a damn dime. The first time I did it yesterday, and I threw myself against the steering wheel, and the steering wheel actually moved forward, but oh, come on, girl. But yeah, I'm just cutting like a son of a bitch right now. I'm having some fun with it. Keep it from plugging up if we can. Get used to all my buttons on this controller. You know, the deer had, I think about the same amount of buttons. But to be honest with you, this handle here is 100 times more comfortable than the one on that John Deere. That thing was so damn uncomfortable, it wasn't even funny. And I know that they've changed them, but oh, that thing was ridiculously uncomfortable. This one's nice. The buttons seem backwards to me. I'm getting used to them, but they seem just ass backwards from what they should be. And I don't, I've noticed that in some companies, but whether it's just you get used to running equipment a certain way. But even going into this machine, not ever running another, it's still the way the buttons work. You think they'd work a little differently, but right now that's about my only bitch. That and the merger wasn't set up right. That was kind of my bitch for the morning. Are we plugging? Are we plugging up? Let's go see what the fuck's wrong now. Put my parking brake on. I think I hit that fucking dirt mound and it plugged me up. I bet that's what happened. I bet I hit that fucking dirt mound. So, yeah, I'm gonna be cussing a lot in farm videos. I try not to, but it's just part of my nature. It's a farm video. I'm gonna be, if I'm farming, I'm not terribly happy about everything. Probably because how much this shit cost. And when it doesn't work, it kind of stresses you out. I'm gonna drop this real quick. I'm dropping my swath board so I can get my damn hand in there. Well, the thing about this merger, doesn't give you any room to work with anything. Oh, there we go. And that could have just been for me setting it down on that other row. I don't know. So right there is where my issue is. That's what it was doing earlier. Just pissing me off what it was doing. And boy, was it doing a good job of it. Son of a bitch, that thing was pissing me off. Alright. Getting our swath board all the way back up, because if I don't do that, we'll have fucking problems. Is there a way to raise this seat? I don't know. Oh yeah. I got my trailer and my swather, you know, a brand new freaking trailer, and we're gonna have to do some modifications to the trailer to make it work, because this thing has a merger on it. So I gotta put some blocks on it so the swather will come up higher and the merger doesn't catch on the trailer. And like that's one of the big things, that way it doesn't tear up the merger, because I have to have that to make any money at all. And the other thing is, this back tire is actually set in about a foot, because if it was out where it needed to be, it would run over your windrow. Oh, I'm not paying fucking attention. And yeah, so it will run over your windrow. But the problem is that for the trailer, it has to be out where it normally sits, or it throws the whole swather off to one side. So I guess what I'm gonna have to, we're gonna put the blocks on it and see if we can't make it where we can steer around the tires and then just straighten it up on the trailer. But I don't think we're gonna be able to do that, because you really don't, you want this thing to go on straight. You don't want to be having to turn the motherfucker on the trailer just because you don't want it to fall off the trailer. But so we're gonna do that and see what we can get accomplished there. And if not, then I'm gonna have to build a makeshift ramp and a supporting deck for that back tire to go up on, over the tires of the trailer, and then down to where it's supposed to ride. So yeah, that's kind of where that's at. But anyways, I'll get over here and I'll just put you up on the front window so you can see a little bit better. I bet I hit that damn dirt mound and it did that. Really aggravating when that freaking happens. The thing about this swather, it cuts a lot faster than my John Deere did. I'm actually having to slow down so I don't beat the hell out of myself. These things are pretty crazy though. The steering in these things is always just so touchy. It's always touchy. No, I put my merger down over here on that other windrow and it's been dragging since then. Hey guys, oop, my welding truck, big old pile of shit in there, but swather's back. Here's a better view of my trailer. I think I'm filming, yeah. My bunnies, I've got more bunnies than I do cows, but I gotta run and get some steel for this thing tomorrow. Fun stuff. I wanted to show you my harrow I had to build. It's Thursday and I still don't have any disking done. I'm just terribly behind, but yeah. Went and I got all these harrows from my grandpa's place in Oklahoma. He used to farm a little bit and ours were all bent to hell, so I went and stole some of his and built this one. Well, I got one extra one. I was going to run four in the back, but I just went with 3. And chain, and I had to redo some. Had to bolt them. They had little hooks on them, and those don't hold with what I'm doing, so had to go back and put bolts in them. And yeah, this is, see, that's a flat bucking tire, that's what that is, but that's what was on some of them, which those don't work, not for what I'm doing. Just bolted it all together. I don't know if I'll run them all aggressive or what I'll do. I'll just kind of dick around with it, but just put it into a chain and chained it to the disc. I would really like a rolling basket is what I'd like to have, but maybe I can buy one after this year or something, because that's what I'd prefer to have if I keep disking, which I'm gonna keep that disc for now. I got some stuff I'm thinking about doing, but I haven't really made up my mind, and so I'm gonna have a disc no matter what I do. But I've just got some other stuff I'm thinking about doing. But anyways, for now I would really like a rolling basket. But yeah, this is a trailer all stuck out. I'm gonna get me maybe one of those fuel tanks with the toolboxes, or maybe just a fuel tank and a toolbox. See what kind of, I know I'll have lots of space right here, and so that's what I'm going to do with that, so I can keep like filters and tools and knives and all that fun stuff. And yeah, but this is a trailer. I've got to do some modifications to it since I have that merger on here, and I'm having a height issue here. That merger, I did this, it scraped. That was already like that, but it touched, and I have an issue, like the wheel where the merger is, it sits inside the other tire, so it actually sits right here. And so I'm gonna see if I can't, you know, get it around these and then back in, or whether I'm gonna have to build a ramp up over these tires and then down, which that may end up being the simplest deal, but who knows, we'll figure it out. But thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you want to do it, it's kind of up to you. I do have an Instagram. It's the same name as the channel. My wife, I don't know if I had it before I did the YouTube. I don't think I did, but yeah, if you want to, I take pictures, stuff randomly. There's a lot more ranch pictures than there are anything. So if you have an Instagram and you want to follow it, you'll see more than kind of what goes on in the videos, I think. You might do it, you might see more, but yeah, so follow that if you want to. It's kind of up to you. I don't put a lot of these things, I don't use it like every day, but you'll kind of see more random pictures than you will see stuff in the videos. But yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy my nice nasty windshield, and stay tuned for more.